Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's Chris Trujillo. I'm going to take you through today creating your very first project with Subscribe. When you first log in, you're going to see this welcome screen here. You're going to see Start a New Project. We're going to go ahead and click on that. This is going to take us to a screen where we have several choices. We can either select one of our existing templates, we can import a design, or we can create an empty project. In this video, we're going to go ahead and create an empty project, so I'm going to click on that button. It's going to take us to the project dashboard. You'll see on the right-hand side a preview of our page. There's nothing here, so it's completely blank right now. We can name this project. I'm going to go ahead and name this New Blank Site. And then we can turn it live and save it. We have some additional settings. We can set a custom domain, some global SEO settings like a title tag. Those can also be edited on each individual page. Then I'm going to go ahead and publish this live. Once it's done publishing live, if we click on the URL, you'll see there is absolutely nothing there, which is great because we are going to be building a website from absolutely nothing. You'll see on the sub-tabs we have General, Design, Assets, Tokens, and Pixels. Assets are where we can view all of our images, CSS files, things like that, if we don't want to get fully into the project. We have tokens, which are custom variables that we can add onto our page, and we can change them dynamically inside of the token editor instead of going directly into the page. I'm going to go ahead and add a token here just to show you what I mean. We're going to go ahead and write brand name as our token, and then the value is this is our brand name. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then pixels are for tracking various different traffic sources. You can place your pixels right in here so you don't have to place them directly on your pages. It just kind of keeps it really clean and an organized way for you to manage your tracking pixels. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the design tab. This is what we're all here for. Click on that. This is our blank canvas. This is what we're going to be designing on. Now, once you if you were to pick a template, or if you were to import an existing design, this would already be filled out. You'd be able to see everything here, and you'd be able to click on all the different elements. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of the various different icons for this particular project. The very top icon is for your pages that you have inside of this particular project. Right underneath that, you have all of your element blocks. We'll get in a little bit deeper into this later as we go on. You have your layers tab, which will outline all the HTML layers. Underneath that, you have a full HTML, CSS, and JavaScript editor. Under that, you have the icon that looks like a tag with 3 dots. These are for your SEO settings for this particular page. Then you have the line with 2 arrows. This is for all of your geo redirects and mobile/desktop, your device redirects. Then you have a preview of all the available tokens. You'll see here we've got basic tokens, but we also have our custom token that we added, brand name. Then you have the icon that's the clock with the arrow, and these are for your loader icons for submitting to various different CRMs. We're going to start out with the page icon. When we're building a website, we usually have a framework of the flow we would like customers to take. So I'm going to go ahead and add several pages. Down at the very bottom, I'm going to click Add Page several times. And I'm going to go ahead and rename all these pages. You'll see by default, they just go page 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. Underneath page 2, I'm going to drop down the 3 dots on the right-hand side. I'm going to go to Rename. I'm going to call this Checkout. Hit enter when you're done. I'm going to go to page 3. I'll call this Upsell. And I will have a thank you page. Now I also need a privacy policy, terms and conditions, contact page. So I will add those now. Perfect. All right, now designing these pages is pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to use the elements inside of our block editor. You'll notice underneath the page icon there's a plus sign. I'm going to click on that. This is our basic build blocks that first pops up. We can open this basic build blocks up to pre-built blocks and then plug in specific blocks if we have any plugins integrated on here. Underneath the pre-built blocks, we have just a bunch of pre-built sections, hero sections, navigation bars, so on and so forth. Down towards the very bottom, we've got support pages, which are some of our very basic outlines for things like your contact page, privacy policy terms and conditions. I'm going to go ahead, since I'm on the contact page right now, I'm just going to grab the basic build block for contact pages, grab and drag, and there's our outline for a contact page. You'll notice it has a bunch of tokens in here already. I need to take note of these tokens so that I can create them in our token list, or I can just come in here and hard code this. So let's say, for example, this corp name, we actually wanted it to say brand name. I can change this to the token for brand name that we've already created. Brand name. There we go. Now if I save this page, up on the far right hand side, top right, you'll see the I. If I click on that, it's going to give me a preview of that. And you'll notice where it had that token for the brand name that we just added, it says this is our brand name. You'll notice we don't currently have anything in the CS phone or the CS hours token because we only created the brand name token. But if you look at the preview, we do fill those in with some generic information. However, if we go look at the actual live site, you'll notice they don't exist. That's because in our preview, we want you to see what it looks like with information in it. All right, let's move on to the next page. I'm going to go over to the terms. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go to our pre-built blocks. I'm going to take our pre-built terms and conditions page, drag and drop. Save that page. Now we'll do the same thing to our privacy policy. Here we go. Drag and drop. We'll do it to our thank you page. We've got some very basic pre-built thank you pages. Perfect. Now this page, you'll notice, is the first one that we can actually add some decent styling to. We've got a bottle image and a logo. I'm going to go ahead and just double click on these images to replace them with some other placeholders that we have to show you how we update images. Perfect. And then the bottle image as well. We're going to replace it with a different bottle image placeholder. There you go. The two different images were just replaced. Just again, double click on the image and drag and drop what you need. Now, if we want to change the size of these images, all we need to do is click on them. You'll notice around the border, you'll see all the little squares. These are elements, they're called pin markers, that we can grab and adjust. Now watch what happens. When I actually adjust this, it's going to change the size of all of these images, and I'll show you why in a second. See that? See what it's doing? What's happening is all of these images, if I look on the far right side, are going to be tagged with this img-fluid. What this means is that the images are all have the same CSS that governs their size. So if I click on this, these seals up on the top right, see there's still img-fluid. Same with the bottle image, img-fluid in our CSS editor on the right hand side. If I want to adjust the size of just this placeholder logo, I can click on it. Now next to where it says img-fluid, you'll see a little check mark. I'm going to uncheck that mark, and now I can edit just this image without affecting the other images, because I'm saying don't edit that CSS. If you'll notice underneath it says selected, and it's created a new CSS tag for us to edit. A little bit advanced there, but you get the idea. We're going to go ahead and click on this image, and we can just adjust this all by itself. Perfect. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save this page. Now let's say, for example, we want to adjust some of the wording on this. It says thank you for your purchase. Maybe we just want it to say thank you. I'm going to go ahead and double click on this wording here, highlight what I want to delete. I'm going to delete it, hit the delete button. If I want to say anything else, I can say thank you for being a great customer. We can put whatever we want there. Now let's say, for example, we also want this to be a little bit larger font. Maybe we want an underline, and let's change the color to red so it really stands out. Over on the right hand side, when I have this element selected, on the right hand side you'll see different CSS settings. We have typography, container, which is the size of the little box that it's in, and then extra. Now this is just a text field. When I click on other fields, you'll see other things. So now container's at the top, then typography, then extra. The background container will have additional things right here. Down at the bottom, you'll see the background color. This little plus sign allows us to put a background image in here and adjust the CSS accordingly. If we want to edit just this text, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go back into my typography. I'm going to click the color button, and we're going to make this a nice bright red. Now we want to make a bigger font, so I'm going to use the drag slider, make it large. Once we've adjusted the words to where we need, we can move on to another section. Maybe we want to adjust where it says these place orders. Let's make them smaller. Maybe we want size 16, so it's not so large. I'm going to click the timestamp for today, change that to size 16. I can highlight this, size 16, and we just do all of our adjustments. If I want to take this image, maybe I want to delete it because we don't ship with any of these. I can just click on it, hit the delete button. You really have full control over the CSS. Now let's say we want to edit the full background. Right now it's this light gray. I'm going to go over to, you'll see where my my arrow is pointing. You'll see everything starting to highlight blue. I'm going to go all the way to the very edge where I can find the background. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go to the container, scroll down. You'll see the background color is set to this gray. I'm going to click on the little circle. This will allow me to select a new background color for it. Maybe we want a nice hue of blue. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and hit save again. I like to save frequently. Down at the bottom, you'll see we have these terms and conditions, privacy policy, and contact us links. Now, what we're going to do is we need to actually link those to our existing pages. So I'm going to click on this terms and conditions. Up at the top of our CSS editor on the right-hand side, you'll notice that the little paintbrush is in the red box. Right next to it is the cog in the white box. I'm going to click on that cog, and you'll notice it's now highlighted red, which means we're on that section to edit. What we can do when we're on certain elements, we can come in here and customize them a little bit more. So for links in particular, these are the settings we get. We get a title, the actual link, href, the location of where that href is going to be. Appending query parameters, this is passing data over the URL. That's a little bit more advanced. Target, whether we want to go this window or a new window. And then special JavaScript click events if we have any of those. What we're going to do is we're going to change the actual href. We can either go to a custom URL. This is really for external linking. Or we can open up the custom URL, click on that, and just tell it to go to the terms page. Now when this link is clicked, it's going to take directly to that page that we created for terms. I'm going to do the same thing with privacy policy. Click privacy and contact us. It's going to go to the contact page. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to publish it. And then I'm going to go over to the actual page we created. Oops, this is the thank you page. There we go. You'll notice here's this is what the page looks like. It's got all of our changes. We made this really big. We highlighted the background. We added the placeholder image and resized it. What I'll do now is on this terms and conditions, I'm going to click on this. It's going to redirect me to the terms page. Hit the back arrow. Privacy page. Hit the back arrow. And the contact page. So now all of our links are working. We've made some adjustments to what this design looks like. Let's go ahead back over to our index page. We have a upsell page and a checkout page. These are really easily styled the same exact way. Just going into our pre-built blocks, finding one of our existing designs. We've got an upsell page, and just click and drag it into the area we want it. And then we can come in here, we can edit any of this stuff that we want. Maybe we want to update this bottle image. Just double click on the image, click our new bottle that we uploaded. I can change any of the fonts or wordings by double clicking. Hello, obviously it doesn't make sense. Your hello is not complete, but you get the idea of how to edit these pages. Let's go to the index page and I'll show you some more elements that we can use inside of our blocks to create a really custom index page. I'm going to go ahead and move to our basic build blocks just to kind of give you an example of all the different elements we can use on our page. Underneath, we've got basic, shopping cart. We've got basic build blocks, shopping cart, extra, SF blocks. These are subscribe funnels specific blocks, bootstrap layout elements, various bootstrap components, and general form. Then we've got those pre-built blocks we discussed briefly. We've got page navigation. So if I just click and drag this over, let's say we want the default coloring. You'll notice this pop-up box that came over. It says that we're missing some dependent files. So it's missing the link to the Bootstrap library and Font Awesome, which this block in particular has. It's asking if it wants us to add those dependencies. I'm gonna go ahead and click yes. Watch what happens to this navigation bar. It's gonna change a little bit as it adds those dependencies. So it kind of brought it in. It probably is more mobile friendly now. Yep, there you go. And that was all by adding that Bootstrap component in there. You've got a bunch of other blocks, a hero block. This is just a large header here, right? Several other product row, divider. I actually like these dividers. I'm gonna drag it in here, right? Very basic divider, but it makes a huge impact on landing pages, like a little call to action. Miscellaneous content sections, so on and so forth. You can continue to build out your page in this manner by just dragging some of those pre-built sections. Or one of the things that I like to do is I like to pull over basic build blocks. We're going to go over to our Bootstrap layouts. These are the ones I like to add. I'm going to pull over a container, which is pretty much a line that goes all the way across. Inside of that container, I need to put a row. And then I can add my columns into that row. It'll start out with one column, but I can actually add as many as I want by just hitting the duplicate button. If you notice as I have this box selected, you'll notice the little blue icons. We've got an up arrow, which takes us to the next CSS element. I've got the arrows, which allows us to move this element somewhere, a copy box, an edit HTML, and a delete. I'm going to go ahead and hit the copy a couple times just to create some columns for us. And I'm going to just start adding random things into these columns so you can see what kind of things we can do here. If I open up my elements again, I'm going to go back to basic elements. I'm just going to add text into one of these columns. I'm going to add an image into another column. Let's get, see if I got any images on my desktop. I have a placeholder, another placeholder logo. Oh, same one. All right. Let's actually change the size of this again. There you go. We have, maybe we want to put in some of these extra elements. We want to do a relative date randomly and click and drag. What this is going to do is going to give us various different examples of what the date could look like. And so I'm going to just select any one of these. I'll click this date here. You'll notice it's all in a token format. Watch what happens when we actually preview that. Our backend is going to read that token and translate it to an actual date. So here it is right here. All right, let's go back. I can have a slider, icon. The icons are kind of cool. I can add a Font Awesome library icon. You'll notice it pulls it over. I just double click on it and I can add any number of the Font Awesome library icons. Maybe we want to put a little Braille icon. I don't know, whatever we want. Right? We can change that at any point. I can also change the color of this icon if I want, which is pretty cool. By just clicking on it, going to our CSS editor on the right, clicking the color underneath the font section, and I can change this the color. All right, let's see what other elements we have. We have a countdown timer we can throw in. Maybe I want the countdown timer above here, right? I can come in here, select the date that I want the countdown timer to end. We have pop-ups if we want to generate a pop-up. Regular count, these are different style of countdown timer. Let's put it in this box right here. Timer in seconds. Let's say we want 6,000 seconds. Let's see how many minutes that is. Preview. So it's 100 minutes. All right. All kinds of sections. We even have form elements. If I want to take a form, maybe I want to create a form in this little box over here. You just have really everything you want to build a really nice website inside of your draggable elements. Now let's say, for example, we wanted to edit the actual HTML of one of these sections. We're really good at just coding out HTML, raw CSS. We can do a couple things. If I want to edit one tiny little section, I can click on it. You'll notice the blue icons. There's one with a square and a pencil. I'm going to click on that icon. This is our raw HTML editor. So this is all the HTML that governs this particular block. Maybe I want to change out some of this wording. Hello, this was a section that was edited. I'm going to hit the apply button. And you'll see here, change the HTML and CSS for that particular section. Now let's say we are even more advanced. We can go into the full HTML and CSS editor, which is the open and close caret on the left-hand side, and click on that icon. And you'll see here, this is the full HTML for the page. Maybe we don't want that timer section that we put in. So what we can do is we can take the CSS for that timer, or sorry, the HTML for that timer. I'm just going to highlight it. I'm going to delete. Then I'm going to hit apply. Now, see our timer that we had in this little box? It's now gone. So it's a full CSS, full HTML editor. You'll notice we also can do JavaScript, JSON, and then we have external libraries that we can link to, jQuery, Bootstrap. This Bootstrap and Font Awesome came over when we dragged those pre-built blocks that needed them. But we have other libraries here as well. There's no JSON on this particular page, no JavaScript. Let's say we wanted to create a JavaScript file. I'm going to highlight JavaScript and I'm going to hit new file. I'm going to type in new JS and hit save. Now what happens is the code actually adds, you'll see the red check mark, it adds the code automatically. JavaScript gets added to the very bottom of the page. CSS files get added to the very top of the page. So now I can type in any JavaScript I want here, and it will be linked automatically. If I want to unlink this, I can just hit that checkbox and it's going to remove the code for it. See, it's all gone now. We can do the same thing with CSS. So sometimes we've got external CSS files. They'll be lined up here, especially on imports and some of the templates. If I hit new file, I'm just going to create style.css. We'll save that. You'll see it linked it up here at the top. If I uncheck and check, you'll see what's happening. I can actually, I'll do this as an example. I can take all of my CSS from inline. I'm going to actually remove it from inline. I'm going to put it on our style sheet. There you go. So it's still, everything still works. It's just linked to an external style sheet now. That's it. That's how you use the editor for building a basic page from a blank project. Next, we're going to show you how to do a project from a template.